Welcome to the Love Life with Lauren podcast with me, your host, Lauren Jobson. I'm excited to bring you practical tips, techniques, and insights on how to improve your daily experiences with your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome to episode 3. I am so happy that you are listening to this. I feel so honored and I know it's going to be super helpful information. So perhaps you have listened to episode 1 and episode 2. If you have, you will know that this is the third sabotage. The first and second were delivered in the first 2 episodes. And I have mentioned about the audio I appreciate is not the best it can be because they have come directly from a masterclass I did recently. So please know I will prioritize better sound for my next episodes and make sure that the sound is better quality for you. So I do believe that this information is profound, it is helpful. So please forgive the audio and have a listen, enjoy it. Now I share the context of what I mean by the different ways we can self-sabotage in particularly the first episode. So if you haven't listened to the first episode, you might like to do that. But otherwise, even if you haven't, you can still enjoy this episode by itself. So without further ado, I will start sharing now the audio directly from my masterclass on the third sabotage that we can do out of a possible 8 when it comes to the way they manifest through our behaviors. So enjoy, and I hope it's insightful for you, and please feel free to share what you learn with me on socials and please subscribe. I do mention that in the outro. I'm so excited to be sharing this podcast with you. I've got so much more coming and I could go on, but I'm going to get straight into it. So enjoy here the third sabotage. Thanks for listening. All right, our third sabotage. Are you ready to receive? You ready to receive? Are you ready to open yourself up enough to receive what you truly want? Because you could receive $20, and have you asked for what you really want? Because you probably want more than just $20. Like maybe you can receive at certain times, but it's like, are you opening yourself up enough to receive what you truly saying that you want? Because it's then, are you asking for it? Are you ready to ask for what you want and to believe in yourself to have it? Are you ready to ask for what you want and to believe in yourself to have it? Because this sabotage is about not doing those things, okay? Right, so we'll talk about that in a sec. The third principle invites us to love ourselves enough to be vulnerable, to open ourselves up to the right people to receive what we want. So the principle is receptivity, and the secret is we need to be vulnerable, okay? To the right people. So again, it's this uncomfortable place. Can be. Now in the shadow of this, we've got our fears. Yeah, our fears. They come up when we start to implement our ideas. Fears do tend to come up, right? It's a part of our programming, again, that thinks it's keeping us safe. What about afraid of being seen? Whether that's putting out a piece of creation into the world. That could be like, oh, but then no, I don't want to be seen. I don't want people to see it and to then possibly criticize me, or right? That's stopping being vulnerable. You can see that. So from the fear of not being criticized. But then no one's going to see you. Your people that are going to love you are not going to see you. What about the can't say the word, inability to receive? So unable to receive. And look at how you receive most things in your life, because that's going to show you where you're at with receiving what you really want. So it's like, how am I receiving compliments from people? How are you at receiving gifts, say on your birthday? How are you at receiving love and just like good friendship and cuddles and hugs and admiration? How do you receive pleasure from others and like pleasure from your body? And how do you allow yourself to just receive that pleasure? without any kind of thing going on about that, no judgment about it. Can you just receive pleasure, or do you judge it? Because if you judge it, then you're probably judging the thing that you want. So you're not even bringing it in. You're not even going to ask for it because you've got those judgments. So it's like how you judge being able to receive is showing you what you're putting out there as a sabotage. It could be a sabotage, right? If this is fully judgmental. And even receiving birthday gifts is a feeling of, if you think of a time where you were just gifted these surprises or gifted these gifts, right? And you're vulnerable in that moment because you don't know what the gifts are. You don't know what the intention of the gifts were from the giver. There's actually vulnerability in those times, and it can be not comfortable as well. It can be quite a funny feeling to be watched. You know that feeling where it's like your special day and everyone's watching you, and then you're getting gifts and everyone's watching you. This is this place of vulnerability, and you've got to look at what you do with the uncomfortableness. Because again, when you start asking, if you haven't already, start asking for what you really, really want, so your next level goals, there will be times where you won't be comfortable and you'll need to be able to receive it anyway, or you'll need to be able to ask for it anyway. So if you're stopping yourself now in the smaller things, which are always actually the big things, if you are stopping yourself from receiving pleasure, gifts, compliments, without feeling the need to just give back as well, then you've got to work on that to help you receive those bigger new goals that you want. Because this is your receptivity. This is your relationship with your receptivity, your ability to receive. So sometimes too, we can be vulnerable with the wrong people. We can be too vulnerable with the wrong people. And we've all learned that, and you maybe think of times that what I mean by that is maybe you're in environments where, say, you're learning at a school, and so you're getting to know a big group of people at one time. And sometimes, like with myself, I really wanted to connect deeply with everyone. And then I've gone, actually, there are going to be people that I don't need to connect deeply with, and I shouldn't. And I mean just, having connection, having care for someone else, having them feel comfortable in my presence. But you know what? Not everyone has to feel comfortable in my presence, because some people just not going to, because they have their own projections of me. We always have just different perceptions and projections of each other. So we have to be okay with people sometimes not being comfortable with us. And this can be a thing of, are you opening yourself up too much to too many people or to the wrong people? What about you don't ask for your desires, or you don't ask for help, and you don't trust your unconscious mind? You don't trust your inner wisdom. Your unconscious mind is everything that you're not conscious of in this moment. We'll talk about this soon. Okay, but it is the part of you that drives and runs all your behaviors and emotions and has all your memories, and it's just so beautiful and powerful for you, your unconscious mind. So in the light, what we want to do to overcome this sabotage of not receiving is having receptivity and being vulnerable, having healthy vulnerability with the right people, connection to all wisdom and inner wisdom, and having that trust of ourselves, having trust of our inner wisdom, having ease and grace when we receive. It allows ease and grace in our life, because it's just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Instead, connected to your own higher self and your heart's desires, which is also something I've said before. Yes, it can be another light of a different principle that I've mentioned. Being connected to our own higher self and heart's desires is always important. Not other people's wants and desires for us, but our own. So I'll talk about that. Because unless we do work with a therapist or really have a lot of self-awareness, a lot of us can be functioning from influence of others, particularly the influence of our parents. Even when we're adults, we can be stuck in our childlike thinking with the events that we experienced, and we could still be living our life to impress our parents, to feel better about ourselves in relationship to our parents and our childhood. So sometimes influence of others can stop us from connecting to our own higher self and heart's desires. This sabotage of not having receptivity can be caused by feelings of being afraid of what sits in your unconscious mind. This sabotage can be caused by feelings of being afraid of what sits in your unconscious mind. It could be unresolved emotions from the past. A lack of memory and anxiety can also be a sign of this sabotage when it comes to your ability to receive. So the questions for yourself are, what do I want to receive? How does receptivity make me feel? Like, how does receiving things actually make me feel? And what are my beliefs about receiving what I want? What are my beliefs about receiving what I want? Because this beautiful archetype, this principle, right? She is your unconscious mind. I said that, but I'll say it again, clearer. Meaning she is this part of you where all of your beliefs are, where all of your emotions are. So we want to explore your beliefs and your emotions. On this thing, when we talk to about manifesting, taking action to get results in our world, we've gone from all ideas, we choose something and we focus and concentrate on that. Then we need to explore our emotions and beliefs about this. Do you believe you are worthy, good enough, lovable enough, and safe? Because there are 3 core fears that we are fundamentally always, our unconscious mind is always being driven to fulfill. It's this question of, am I lovable enough? Am I good enough or worthy? And am I safe? Am I lovable enough? Am I good enough and worthy? And am I safe to receive through my ideas what I want? This is what this principle asks of us to be clear on. What are our beliefs and our emotions? Let's just recap them. We need inspiration in order to have energy. Do we get that? So we need to have inspiration in order to have energy. Then we need to have concentration in order to have focus. I need to concentrate, cut away other things. And we need vulnerability in order to receive. We need vulnerability in order to receive. All right, so that's where we've gone. And we've got 5 more to cover in different sessions. I hope you gained some helpful insight into how you can love yourself even more today to create a life you love. Remember, life is a process and you are in process. So all of your feelings are valid and can lead you to incredible learnings and growth if you only choose to be self-aware and self-accepting, to connect into yourself and listen to that beautiful inner wisdom of yours. Please come over to my socials, including Instagram at Lauren Jobson, and to share with me what you learnt from today's episode by commenting on this episode's post. I'd love to connect and hear from you. Subscribe and share the love by sharing this podcast with others. I hope to be in your ears again in the next episode.